I mentioned I teach film studies, but I'm here to talk to you about two courses, BISC 100 and BISC 101. Now, these two courses are really an excellent introduction to university study. These are interdisciplinary courses, and that means we're going to look across different disciplines, perhaps history, geography, cultural studies, media studies, and we're going to think about how these different disciplines understand the world around us, both locally and nationally, through time. So we might start with something like the castle. Now, choosing a university program, finding the right environment is really, really important. And you couldn't choose a better environment to study than the castle. But finding a good program of study is also really important. And with the BISC 100 and BISC 101 courses, we use the materials of our grounds and locality to help raise students' understanding of the material that we're looking at. So, for example, we have a castle, a beautiful castle. But what would compel somebody to build a place like that? Did they build it to be a family home? Well, yes. But was it built to be a statement? Well, yes, that's also true as well. So starting with the castle itself, we'll look at who might have built that place and what were some of the motivations and reasonings for building such a place. Now, there are many, many documents that tell us about lords and ladies, and we can very confidently tell you what life was like for the lord of the castle. But history also allows us to ask other questions. What was life like for the other people who lived there? While there might be large paintings and portraits of Lord and Lady Dacre, what about the bakers who lived in the castle? What about the people who took care of the poultry who lived in the castle? What about the servants, the cooks, all those other people who lived in the castle? What was life like for them, and how do we know it? So BISC 100 and 101 are two courses that ask complex questions about how do we know the things we know? What are the methods that academics use to put together what they call knowledge or understanding? What are the bits of evidence that someone might pull together to tell a story about what it was like to be a baker in the 1400s? What ingredients did they use? What methods did they use to cook? Was their food local, or did they bring food in from afar? And if so, how did it get there? So that's the content of BISC 100 and 101. But what about the method? I said that these two courses are an excellent introduction into university studies because what we do is we break down knowledge into its constituent parts. We ask questions like, where would you start building a project about cookery in the 1400s? Where would you go? A library? A museum? And how would you use that museum to further gather your evidence? What steps of process would you use to find your evidence? And when you've got your evidence, how will you evaluate it? What are the processes that you would use to judge whether your evidence is good? Then how do you interpret it? What are the steps that you would use to interpret that data that you've gathered? And then how do you present it? And we'll teach you better presentation skills, better essay writing skills, and better research project development skills. So BISC 100 and BISC 101, they are two elective courses at the castle, but I challenge Dr. Anna Taylor, and I think BISC 100 and 101 are the most popular courses because these are elective courses where students choose to take them, and they are a great foundation and a great start to your journey of university study.